Botan holds no grudges.
When Ken was 5, his dad decided it was time to go on a training journey, so he packed up his things and left Ken at home alone. Since then, Ken has only ever seen his dad in passing. He would often send home money, not enough to keep him fed, only enough to maintain rent and keep them from being kicked out. Ken would usually find himself going to the local monastery to do chores in exchange for food. Those were some of the better times of his life. While doing chores at the monastery, the local monks would often tell him that the great way to clear one's mind when dealing with complex problems is to clean. It helps you focus and determine what your priorities are. While remembering this piece of wisdom, Ken finds himself cleaning his new cabin home in the middle of the world's most deadliest woods in the Forest of End. Interestingly enough, Krim was nice enough to pack him a few things for his home-owning grates, full of things like maps, ropes, jars, hunting tools, fishing tools, etc., even a gardening kit.
At this point, he has cleaned up the majority of the house. The cabin appears to be 3 stories. The main floor is just a central living area. The upstairs has rooms for sleeping use and privacy, and then the 3rd floor appears to be an office space as well as a storage unit next door. Was it stuck to the matter? After cleaning up, he found that he had little to do.
Seeing the fishing equipment, you remembered another thing. Whenever the monastery didn't have enough chores to justify giving him food, he would often go fishing at the nearby lake and cook whatever he caught. Realizing he hasn't had any dinner plans, he fashions the rope around the yard to make it easy to carry, picks up the fishing rod as well as a map of the local area, and heads off to go fishing as an attempt to clear his head and feed his soul, as well as his body.
While wandering the forest, getting off the map, trying to figure out where the lake is, he finds himself deep in the woods. The ambiance is an area reminiscent of a forest, with goblins yelling at each other, possibly scheming to capture and/or kill something. A strange lizard-like creature is attempting to eat a goat. The underground insect colony appears to be very active at the moment as well. All these things in one place. As soon as Ken thinks he has finally figured out what the lake is, he spots a peculiar sighting on the road. I'd rather not have a large bear, or maybe it's average. Back when Ken was a man, he was pretty much of average height. The whole female retrograde situation makes him probably average in height, and they're pretty tall, like Russian tall. So if you would, I suppose this is perhaps a pair of average or slightly taller height. He makes a mental note to check later as he questions his knowledge of bears. The bear in question makes itself more known than it already is by lording itself over him. Ken is showing his aggression as much as possible. Can be intimidated, places the fishing rod and jar on the ground. Having been around the block, he knows when something is itching for a fight, and that bear wants to throw some punches, readying up a stance. He tries to invoke his aura, which he's having trouble with. Stabilizing, it's not weak, it's just as powerful as it needs to be. It's in survival mode 24/7, and he can't figure out what's going on with it. The bear goes in for a swing, and Ken dodges.
Ken, classic bear move.
Bear tries to smash him with his other arm, but Ken blocks with a high kick.
Ken, I know I'm pretty lumberly, but I don't recall being this flexible.
The bear falls on him for a tackle. Ken disengages the kick, dashing backwards. The impact of its body makes a cloud of dirt.
Looking up, he sees that he's losing daylight.
Sorry, big guy. I'd love a good fight, but I hate fasting.
He zooms in while the bear is getting up, delivering a love tap to its skull with a little aura. Shaking his fist, he notices the metal fused to parts of its body, including its head.
Tough guy, aren't you? But I couldn't leave a spare buddy out, could I, in this neighborhood? I'm not that heartless.
Saying that he spots a giant centipede 20 kilometers away spying on them. Without much choice, he hoists the bear over his shoulders, then grabs his things. Finally reaching the vast lake, the bear is left by a tree within reach should the centipede try something. Ultimately, he believes that fishing is a suitable choice. The air is nice, The crickets are singing, ignoring their size. Looking in the water-filled vase, he sees more than a dozen fish. He takes some of them, wraps them in a leaf, and leaves them with the bear. Still, with more than enough fish, he preps the leaf, but sensing the stalker still has not left, he grabs a stone. He wraps them in a profound blue aura.
Ken, Storm Sinker.
He flicks the stone at a speed that could be described as instant, leading to the centipede's head exploding.
Whoops, meant to scare it a little. Anyways, stay safe out there, buddy.
He gave the bear a light pat before departing with the collection of fish and rod.
Grudge bears, identified by the fused chunks of metal on their skin. They never forget the scent of those they fought. Warning, they hold grudges easily. Sitting on the porch, Ken reads a monster encyclopedia while eating grilled fish.
That's going to be annoying.
The next morning, Ken wakes up to having grilled fish for breakfast, and as he heads out of the cabin, he spots a familiar figure waiting outside.
Ken, if you'll be sticking around, you'll need a name. When I was 4, my mom gave me a toy bear. Dad took it, stating that if I were a real man, I could beat him and take it back. I tried to beat him, but failed. He lit it on fire, but it survived. Good old Botan.